It's Tracy Guns and the League of Gentlemen right here on your Classic Metal Show with Sugar Mama. And we want to thank Tracy Guns for making the appearance tonight. We were going to bash him, Chris, but then he came through at the last minute.
You mean you were going to bash him? I am a big Tracy Guns fan.
Sure you are. Sure you are, Chris. That's what you say now, but that wasn't what you were saying when we were off the air. You were ready to go at full bash mode.
Never, man. I mean, Tracy's an accomplished guy. He's a member of our community. Why would I ever bash him?
All right. Well, we'll just leave it at that. How's that?
All right. We have a lot to do tonight on the show.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot to do tonight.
We have a very, very packed show. It's kind of prog metal night, although I don't think we're going to play a whole lot of it. You know, we've got Tarja Turunen from formerly of the band Nightwish. Now she's out solo. She's going to be on. I talked to her earlier in the week. And we've got Ray Alder from Fate's Warning. They have a new record. And I talked to him earlier this week. So we've got those to do. And then you told me that we have just tons of emails tonight, right?
Well, I don't know that it's tons, but there's a few that I would like to get to and mention.
Yeah, and I have one that I would like to get to and mention. So, in fact, I have two that I would like to get to and mention. One that's an email and one that's a Facebook.
Okay.
So we have that, and we have some audio that I sent you today from David Lee Roth talking about keeping his voice in shape.
Right. Right.
Which we know he does after seeing him in fucking Wisconsin.
Absolutely.
And then we have this. As I told you earlier this afternoon, and has come to fruition, I have a mystery guest for the show. And it's somebody, the only hint that I'm going to give is that it is 100%, zero doubt in my mind, somebody that you will know.
Nice.
It's not. There's no way you won't know this name.
And
no,
and they're live in the studio with you,
sitting right next to me, feeding me beers and other substances that we won't talk about. And
so your guest is feeding you?
Oh yes, chips, beers. I love that.
Nice. It isn't Tara from Sons of Anarchy, is it?
Oh boy, only if she's feeding me pussy.
Wow.
Good Lord, I'd love to fucking lick that clit until I had a fucking scab on my tongue.
All right, well, wait a minute. That was last week's show. This is this week's show.
Come on, we didn't get all dirty last week.
I know. Actually, you know, and kind of backing up. You know, I was out of the studio last week, and you and John and Curt took over the show. And I was, and I'm going to be very complimentary here, I was pleasantly surprised at how well you gents handled yourself.
There was no talk of squirting pussies or anything this week.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You guys actually handled yourself well. You kind of stayed on topic. You didn't get the girlfriends involved too much, except for that
horrendous.
Jimmy, just a personal note.
Stephanie misses you.
Stephanie wanted me to tell you on a personal level, she misses you, or she loves you and she misses you.
Nothing made me happier that Jimmy shut that down cold.
And it was just like, what?
Tell me when you heard that back, you were not thrilled that Jimmy just fucking slammed the door on that.
Well, I was sitting there while Jimmy was doing the interview.
Right.
And he just like went dead silent, and he goes, I don't have a response for that. Thank you, I think.
He was like, what the fuck ever? You know how many chicks I fucking see week to week?
It's like I'm supposed to remember her?
Yeah. She was just one of many.
And it's like, why does your friend John feel the need to drag the girlfriend in on everything?
I'm assuming it's about getting the pussy, but I don't know for sure. You know, I mean, and you know I love Stephanie to death. I mean, Stephanie's one of my very best friends in the world, but oof, that was fucking douchey.
Yeah, I know. How does MOL say that was douche chills?
It was definite douche chills. I know. I just looked at John like, what the fuck, dude? Seriously?
Well, anyway, so I was out last week,
right,
with the bands Dokken, Sebastian Bach, Rat,
Winger.
Lita Ford, Kip Winger, Warrant.
Right.
And obviously there was, national headline news of the band or the plane that was carrying Rat and Dokken having to make an emergency landing due to smoke.
Yeah, crazy how that worked.
And, people go, well, there wasn't an actual fire on board. Okay. There was smoke in the cockpit, etc.
You think it was weed like Don was indicating?
No. Actually, no, they found out what it was Sunday when I was in Kalamazoo.
Okay.
What it was is this jet is only designed to carry 12 passengers.
Okay.
Well, they had 14.
Okay.
So in order to accommodate the extra 2 passengers, they have these what they call jump seats. Do you know what those are?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, they're normally in a folded up position against the cabin wall.
Okay.
Well, in order to deploy the jump seats, they were motorized. And so because they needed 2 extra seats to accommodate everybody on the plane, they had to deploy the 2 extra jump seats.
Okay.
Well, nobody ever uses those jump seats. There's never a need to deploy them and put them in the position you can use them. They're always folded up against the wall.
Okay.
Well, when they deployed the jump seat, the motor that causes the jump seat to not retract, but open, I guess.
Sure.
The motor stayed running.
Oh, and it burned up?
It burned up.
Okay.
And that's what caused the smoke. But the problem is when you get, and I'm going to get all techie here, but this was being explained to me that when you get an electrical fire, especially on a plane, what happens is that the electrical harness that usually runs under the floor gets hot.
Okay.
And then the insulation starts to melt, and then you've got basically a traveling fire under the floor.
Sure.
So that's the danger in that. Well, people can say, oh, well, that motor burned up, or the resistor or capacitor burned up, or whatever it was that burned.
Okay.
It could cause this chain reaction to cause the wiring to catch fire and get hot and start burning, and it burns under the floor, and then there's no way of stopping it.
Right.
And then you're in a oxygen-rich environment in a plane at 7,000 feet.
Yeah, and that's probably not so good.
And that's when the real trouble begins. So luckily, they were able to set that plane down before anything got out of control.
That smoke could have made a couple of singers' voices a little better, but
nice. But anyway, you and I were, and this was just circumstances that I just happened to be there. We were the only ones to get live interviews from people who were actually on that plane.
Yep, I know, and none since either.
Right.
Yeah, nobody, just us.
Yep. So we actually got a couple of the people who experienced this, potentially catastrophic experience live on the show just hours after it happened.
So what you're saying is that we are bigger than CBS.
Yeah,
News.
we're the CNN of hair metal.
We're not CNN. We have listeners.
Right. Nice. But it was a pretty eventful weekend. That these guys, be it the guys in Dokken and Rat, their whole perspective of life more or less changed.
Yeah, I don't think they liked me very much.
Well, I know Blotzer was kind of like put off because because of your life flashed before your eyes. Did you regret the jizzy years?
Come on, that was funny.
That was a good line.
It was a funny line.
And immediately he pulls the phone away from his face and looks at me, and then he says into the phone, "Am I talking to Metal Sludge?" And then he goes, "Is this like live radio or something?" Just like, yeah, this is the live thing.
Sure, we're on the air.
Nice.
Fuck him. He's a dick anyway.
Well, regardless. But anyway, you guys handled yourself well, especially with your friend Curt not realizing he was speaking with the real Jeff Tate.
That was fucking hilarious that he really thought that was Jeff Tate.
That was just amazing.
And dude, I wish I had video. because literally I wouldn't turn the mic off. You know me, I'll never turn the mic off. And John is doing everything in his power to signal Curt that it's not the real Jeff Tate. And meanwhile, I'm helping none because I loved it. I love the fact that he thought it was Jeff Tate, and I love that he was arguing with him.
I know. Do you think of these things when you're flipping burgers at the local burger joint? Wow. It's amazing. But, yeah, you guys did a pretty good job in my absence. Not that, that I'm the greatest host ever, but, in my absence, you guys carried through and did a good job. Very solid.
Well, thank you. Well, now we're back, though. Enough of last week. Last week is over.
Well, it is over, and we are back, but I just wanted to throw that out there that I appreciate how you guys handled the show in my absence.
Well, it's all about me. I carried those other two fucking hacks.
Well, I did make it very clear at the Oshkosh show that anything happens on this show in my absence, it's between you and I, and we're the ones who will have words, not me and John and not me and Curt.
Right, of course. And we had no words this week.
Nice.